Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavatpadacharyaobhyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodayastititolaya Niyadiprataya Jnana Prataya Vibudasura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Madiprabodhan Vadanarasya Kritavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirthamunivaryam Namami Pujyaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadhenave Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome, friends, again to our session of Kathopanishad, where we are continuing the journey towards finally, getting the takeaways from this Upanishad, not only for our benefit, it is only it's for our growth as well as to enhance our vision of the world, the glorious vision of the world, which is being given, in this last chapter. Once you understand that, how far our vision was crippled, cringed, we were, because not able to, we are capable of having that vision, but we ourselves have sort of restricted ourselves having a cringed vision. To get out of that, only we have come into the takeaways in the final chapter of the Kathopanishad, where it has taken, whatever we have discussed earlier, everything into a small dosage of, small, it is minute, so that, you can take it and it automatically grows into, your own feelings, mindset, actions, and emotions, so that, you can live in this world wonderfully. So when we have taken that, because one of the three things, because that we have seen, because in this thing is, we are going towards the launch pad of finally to how to get into the what we call so-called realization of the God. The realization of the God, how, what is the realization of the God? Realization of your own potential and realization of, your own possibilities, which we have not realized. Because through that only you will be able, because without realizing yourself as to what you are, and, because how you can be, because once you understand that, then only, you will be able to realize the God. Once you don't understand your innate qualities, innate capabilities, innate power, you will not be able to understand, because He is so powerful. He has given you all the power through which, because you are able to, by which, you are able to get everything, because whatever you are doing, whether it is good, bad, or, something indifferent has happened, or, you have gone through the life, your experience, because everyone's experience has got, quite a bit of the wonderful, bed of roses, as well as the lot of you might have crossed so many fires, you might have crossed through so many storms. All of them are combined together, because finally the one which we get into. But once we get into, what is that, are we going to be, hawking on, because what happened, because how I have was wonderfully happy, or how am I, because managed those, difficult days, or, how someone has, created all the problems for me. Is it that, am I going to wallowing in all those things? No. As I am going to see, because once I am seeing, all these things have happened, because they are the nature of things. When we have seen, because the earlier mantras and what we have seen, Indriyobhyo param manaha manasaha sattvam uttamam sattvadi mahanatma mahato avyaktam uttamam. Once we have said, because all the senses and all, they are all the sort of a cause of giving you the sensations and the experiences. The sensations have come because of the sensibilities, sabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, because they are the one who are taking us into the object per se. The object, creates an attraction once we have that sensibilities activated in us. If I don't, because if I have a particular taste, because I am taken to naturally, even if it is 10 miles away, or 10 kilometers away to a restaurant, where the food is so good, it takes away, because, my taste buds have got used to that. Likewise, whatever gets, because attracted, because our senses take away. I think once we understand that, whether it is really good for me, because I may be having a particular type of, the body, because I may be having a sugar, the diabetic, or I may be having a pressure. I'm supposed to take everything, within the limits. But my taste buds are taking me to that, because where those limits are not applicable. Then once I understand, because look, it is not good for me. What we do, even my taste bud says we are trying to have, look, okay, I will have it, only when I need it, to the extent what I can, not beyond that. We are putting our own sort of a limitation of our experience, because we know what is good for us. Till then, because once you get that, how you get that, because you have understood yourself what is good for you, that comes by the grace of the God. Because supposing, if I understand what is that, what, so let me see, whatever happens, let me enjoy the world, because today it is available, tomorrow we don't know, there could be some war, some restriction, gas is not available, that is not available, or because even like one more pandemic may come, I will be, when things are available, let me do that, because then that case, you don't care about anything at all, it is good or bad or not at all. That means you are not able to apply in any of this. Even the sensibilities fail and the senses fail and your experience fails. We have not learnt anything from the experience. So we have not learnt anything from the experiences. Intellect is absolutely, because incapable of taking you in the right path. So this is as far as, once you are gathering it and all, once you come to that last mantra, what we have seen, na sandrishte tishtati rupamasya, in the sense, you will not be able to see what is good for you, with your ocular, with a normal vision. Only when you understand internally what is good for you, what am I going to do? Because like for your own experience, because now it is talking about the highest realization of the God. The first step is once you understand what is good for you, how you can. Because when someone says, because they look, because for some time you will have to be like, limiting your activity, you should not be traveling and since, even if there is a wonderful occasion, because someone has sponsored you, for a wonderful trip, because then, okay, let me come back and see, because that is one attitude. But it said, because no, because I can take it a little later, because even the trip is organized, I would request, let it be organized, 6 months later, when things are good, I may be able to go. So that possibility will come, once you are able to realize it is not immediately the priority for you. So the what is the priority for you is very, very, because beautifully brought in, because we have also earlier given few examples. We will also be looking into the Nasandrishte Tishtati. This is for the mantra number 9 in page 132. We have already covered. For the purpose of continuity, I am just repeating it. Na chashusha pasyati kaschanenam. Because even your eyes, will not be able to see, even if it is, good, good things are in front of you. Even if you might have received a WhatsApp, which is saying what is good for the people with this type of a thing. You might have read it and you said, because I'm getting diamond as a, this is one of those WhatsApp. But anyway, because as long as my body, what it tells me, I will be able to do it, because that is how, if you take it, that's also an attitude. How, you should not give in your emotions. How you should not give in your own, because the propensities created by the perceptions, of your desires and want. How, once you are able to do that, it is good, going to be good for you. You will be able to realize yourself. Look, because once that is there, it gives you the capability. Once your body is kept in a good shape, it gives you the capability of doing what you like, what you enjoy. So once you do that, Hrita Manisha Manasa Apiklipte, in the sense it happens, it is revealed. How it is revealed, that you can't be, explained. It is more to be experienced than to be expressed. Hrita Manisha Manasa Abhikripte. Kripte, Krupto. Kripte. In the sense, it happens. It happens, because how, because love at first sight, how it happens. It's revealed. No one else, because there may be 100 people around, but you and the other person only be knowing how it happens. And when you go, to a particular temple, because you get, there are so many temples you may be visiting. On one particular temple, because you go there, the atmosphere, ambience, because even the sanctorium, will be so attractive to you. You will be sort of getting attracted to the temple. Look, where you will try to go as often as possible, where you find the peace of mind, where you are able to forget yourself. And that is where, because when you are able to give up yourself in the sense, something else takes you. You will not be able to give unless something else takes you. That is what, because so all desires, because not bad in the sense, because that is what, you will have to take the highest desire. The highest desire is when you are able to give up, because all those experience based wants and desires. And when you are able to give emotionally, it should not be, look, because I would have been very happy, tabiyat kush ho gaya na, aisa hi nahi hai na, because because when you are able to emotionally also, you are able to create a sort of quietude. When you go to a place like that, it happens. So suppose you go to sort of, there's some place, Dakshineshwar, it may happen there and all. So when it happens, because why it happens, that particular place, but for someone else, you go to some sort of a hill location, because it may happen, because even the nature is in its manifestation so beautiful. And you see, how this entire creation of the God, has come together, to give that wonderful the feeling of being, in synchrony, in harmony with the entire thing. Because when you don't have any sort of, you are at peace yourself. You are not bothered about what is happening down the ground in your home and all. So that type of a thing comes, because you are emotionally and the intellectually, you are fulfilled. Nothing else you are looking for. That is what, that Hirta Manisha, that is what it happens. Yeah, Hirdam Udaste Bhavanti, because this is what we covered in the 2.3.9 before we went to the next, where we talked about, because all the five senses will have to be brought together and they should work in synchrony with the mind as well as synchronous with the mind and the intellect, then you will be able to. These are all the things that has been said, because based on what you can experience yourself. For instance, when we have talked about the earlier thing, and same question Vivekananda asked Paramahamsa, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, when he saw that. And he said, because he was so many, he was totally, like sort of hypnotized, because in front of the Bhavadarini of Dakshineshwar. When he went there, his eyes were flowing with tears, because that is a bliss, because Ananda, because it's Satchit Ananda, because that is what, it has happened and all. When he was just absolutely, he was bliss, because personified, the splendorous glory of his, the entire body, mind, and intellect, because he was just shivering, in that bliss. And Vivekananda asked him, what is this, because it is like, he asked in so many words, because I think, if I do the same thing, someone will consider as a lunatic. It has happened, because we might be seeing, in some people reacting, in particular circumstances, when there is a puja and all, someone says, because God has come into being and all those things, then he said, because look, this can happen to anyone, even you can have that experience. He said, no, I can't have that experience. Vivekananda said, I am a rational man. I know what I will be able to see the reason for that, and then I will be able to. So when the reason, because I will be able to reason out, and then only I will be able to do and all. Ramakrishna said, yes, because you can also do, because why don't you tell me? And you say always Bhavadarani is talking to me. Why she is not talking to others? Why is, because so many people are spending, they are doing, they are keeping fast, they are coming and offering, why she is not talking only, she is talking only to you? He said, look, she can also talk to you. And if you want, and he said, I want her to talk to me. How I can ask her to talk to me? Then he said, look, for that, it is desire, you give up, all the experience-based, sensibility-based desires, because that, of course, they are sort of the luggage that prevents us from getting into that type of a highest desire, where, you are just keeping, you are able to realize yourself, and then you are able to catapulted, because you are into stress, you are being thrown into the interstellar space of that bliss. At that point of time, he took him to the waters of Ganges, flowing in front of the Dakshineshwar. As they got into few steps, you just put, I have told this story earlier. Put Vivekananda's entire, the head into the water, kept it for a couple of minutes. Vivekananda just he couldn't breathe. He just, Hare, what you are doing? Leave it to me. I will alert to come out. He said, no. When you are having so much of, you are anxious to come out of the water, because you want to have the breath and, be alive. Such a sort of a longing should be there, if you want to get that particular experience. How it will happen? Because when you are having, all the sort of, you are limiting yourself, with the worldly experience and the worldly wisdom. And certainly, because that there's no possibility of it happening. But from the worldly wisdom, once you learn, because all those experiences have got a limitations. All those experiences, because look, because when I am, able-bodied, I may be traveling all around the world. But once my faculties are coming down, I will be having a limited traveling, to the closest places nearby. When I was, because having in youth, I could, because take as much as, because food as possible. I could even be a glutton, but because as the digestive power comes down, then I am limiting it. Because once you see that everything else, because like it's rising and the going down, we have seen setting sun and all, and Udya Astamo, because we have seen like everyone rises and comes down, because there is a way. Because once you understand everything has got a birth and death, your because hunger has also got, because once you are fulfilled, with the food, and then, because the hunger goes off. After some period of time, it is digested, the energy has been spent, and again you get the hunger. So if it happens, if you are keeping the cycle of a body like that, it will be good. But then, once you have created, your own sort of a timetable, I will have to take this at this time. I will have to take whether the body needs or not, whether the hunger is there or not, then it happens. So once you do that, you will only go by, what is the need that comes at that time, then you are not bothered. So in that possible, then your senses are not, your sensibilities are not wasted. Your energy is not wasted. You are able to, because when you have go for the desires, because and experience the world, because you have seen and it is attractive and it has been brought to you, you are spending as much energy as possible. Finally, because you are not able to get into that, because already, your energy is spent. Even when you go to the place, you go to a place, because after traveling so much of a distance, by land, by sea, and by air and all, by the time you reach, you are almost exhausted. And if you are going to there for 3 4 days, maybe first 1 or 2 days, will be, you will only be trying to make up, and the next 2 days, you will see whatever is available and then come back. But only thing is, you have also gone to that place, you have experienced it. But wholeheartedly, have you been that? Have you seen the fauna around? Have you seen the flora around? Have you been with the people? And how, because the people, who are there, the culture, very, could you be, because part of them and all, because all those things, will not happen. So once you do that, because then you are able to sort of dissipate, you are able to give the energy, and, because you're able to gather, further, and that takes you to the higher level. Because that once you take to the higher level, your vision of the splendor of the world will go several yards beyond. You will not be cringed by only what you have experienced, what you are, in your home, or, because whatever you have gone through and all, you will see there are something much more than what I have seen. So much, as Isaac Newton has said, and I am still exploring the grains of the sand on the seashore, when the vast ocean remains unexplored. Once you do that, because when the who has, got the vast ocean, because it's also going by certain order, because things are happening. My body is also obeying the laws, but who gives the orders? That is the question. Once you know that power who is giving the orders, you are trying to find. Once you get into that mode only, till then, because you are only bothered about, because what is being made available, who is being made, who is making it available, it is that same power. So once you are trying to find out the power which is always pervading and as well as immanent in you, you are trying to find, because what is the same power which has created and which has offered, which is the same one, which is being, directing me, because through which, I am getting the thing done. Once you understand that, that is the point of realization. This is, because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's story, because what we talked about. The same thing, because the next mantra, what we have seen, briefly last week, that is in the page 130 to 2.3.10. Yata pancha avatishthante jnanani manasa saha. Because when the five come to rest, when all the five senses come to rest, in the sense, they will be functioning. But, they will not be, because they will be, all of them will be focusing on particular thing. Because assuming, because you are trying to, because work on a project, because for some project, for our children, or you are trying to work for a project, for you want to create, some entity, through which, you want to give the services, you will be only focusing on that. Because all your senses will be, it will not be, because you will not try to, okay, why I should hear some music, for some time and come back, those things will not happen, because you will be able to putting everything into that. Because once you have a passion and you are going to enjoy that, because finally you are going to create something out of that, because that happiness is much more than what you would have done for yourself, day on and day off, which we have been doing right from birth. We have been doing, because taking care of ourselves, doing everything. How much, we are able to, because get achieve, get, the remembered of that, what is that, which is added to us. apart from, because few sort of discomforts and deficiencies in the body and mind and intellect, it has not added, because of course, we have gone through the experiences, we have given into the experiences intelligence and all. Finally, because if you see the sum and substance of it, finally it has not given much. Once you do that, because you will try to do whatever you are enjoying, not that you go out of the way to do what is in your capability within your means, and what you can, because do that, that's what it says, don't go out of the way and all. So you don't have to prove to anyone. You have to prove to because what is that you are going to do? I want to create. No, I want to invest in the shares and I want to be a billionaire and to show other stockbrokers look as a daytime day investors, day trader, and I will be able to make money and all that. What is that? Because is it that? Because then you will only be sucked into the vortex, and because finally you will be losing whatever you are having. So likewise, because once you do that, because what is that I can do? What is that capability? And I am accumulating the capability, whatever is possible at that point of life. As a youngster, I would have been, because excelling in the athletics, sports and all. But as I grow, because my other activities, where I will be able to create a organization, where we create a group of people and enter into that, or I single-handedly, if I can do something, because I will offer my services and all. This is what exactly, because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said. It is not that, you give up your senses, you renounce everything and all. Have a desire, because desires you give up. But the unripe, because the unwanted desires, the ripe and the one with this, like a child, the child has a desire for to explore everything and it has got the curiosity. Same desire, you have it. No problem. And the like child is very active, because its energy is far too great, because you will not be able to match the energy of a child. Have that energy. But then, because try to have that energy of, because finally what, because the child will try to bring, because even to take, it can't bite, fruit, it will bring and give it to you and all, because it's not going to say, cut it and give it to me. It doesn't, it enjoys, giving it to you and all. The innocence with which, we have a desire, because that is much higher. The innocence is when you are not having any sort of only for trying to work for yourself with a purpose, but then you are doing as it comes in the flow, you are doing whatever is possible and you are doing it. So in that process, yes, certainly, you will have to look after your food, shelter and the clothing, you have to take care of it. But you are not going to be unduly be, because I will have to have, because the five sets of the suits and I will have to have the five sets of this and all. Then, you will be giving up, because the other important things, which you are capable of. So likewise, once you are trying to go with the flow, and when you are able to do that, finally, because then once you start enjoying it, it will all fall in place. You will be taken to the right type of a thing without you don't have to look for what am I to see, because to realize the God. It will automatically, it is the grace of the God. It will be brought in. Automatically things will fall in place. You will get to know, say your interaction will happen in such a way, because your own vibes will be vibration will spread and you will also be taken in. It is there is always sort of a magnetic power, because that takes you there. And how it happens, it is the grace of the God. So yata pancha avitashtanti jnanani manasa saha. Because when you are able to, all the five senses are being working towards a great purpose, not the unripe desires and unwanted and selfish desires. Selfish in the sense only for self purpose. Otherwise, when the ripened desires, like innocence and with the energy of a child, when you are trying to do, because it is going to be, because it is you don't have to deliberately do the service. When you are creating an organization, automatically it's service. So when it got the service, you can't be doing it alone. You will have to bring the people, because then, because you will be having a variety of people. Some of them may be having the same congruence of mind as you are. Some of them may be different. They will be having a different ideas. You will have to work with. So then you will be able to know how you will be able to do all those things. And all. See, another important factor is, because when the biggest point is how to bring all the five senses together. Because if you really see in a day to day, because only few of the senses, gets prominence. The rest of the senses, because that someone who may not be the introvert, he may not be talking, but he will be observing, he will be listening and all. So he will all be making, because his phone, okay, because I have to go here and I will have to talk to them and I will have to do this and all. Someone will be, because talking a lot, because that is basically, even if he doesn't understand, he will try to talk, because that is the insecurity. He wants to show, because that he knows that. And another thing is he wants to find out what other people are up to. Because you have not developed, your own USP to what you should do. Upanishad says you find out. Don't go by others. No one has to dictate to you. You know yourself. You have got the seed quality. You have been innate quality has been given to you. Once you know that, once you are able to come, because suddenly you find, even irrespective of the age, you want to know about artificial intelligence, you can do that. There are umpteen dime a dozen courses are there. Not that you have to do only meditation and all. You do that, and if you are trying to do understand that, okay, this can be useful for something, because finding out, because for which property, for which things, what are all the food to be taken, or what type of treatment, because better for this, if artificial intelligence can, you can do that also. So you can use it as a purpose, you can use it as a tool, but you can use it as a sort of a tool for making money. Then only, because the things will go. Because I think, because your entire focus will change. So once you do that, money will come automatically when you are doing the service. The service organization have to survive on the money, but then money will come, and money will also be spent on the right one, because the capital will be there. Yeah, I may be having a capital, but what is the purpose, telling that I'm a billionaire or a millionaire? But unless that is being put into the flow, the cycle, the flow has to be there. The life has to be a flow. The wealth has to be a flow. The mind has to be a flow. The emotions have to be, it will have to flow and come back. It should not be, because you will only take, you overwhelmed by the emotions, to something. And, rest of the time you are not, you are as dry as wood. You don't have any emotion. It can't be, because emotions will have to, wherever, it is due. You see, because empathy and sympathy and karuna and all those things will come, because emotions will go on circulating it, but then they will not be linking it, because once your intellectual coherence and emotional coherence coming to, because they are aligned, you will certainly be doing what is good at that point of time, because so that people do get it what they want, and you will also be getting the resources what you require. So that is how, the life flow has to go off. Buddhischana Viseshthate, because this is one of the important words, that is Buddhischana, the end of externalized activity, in the sense, the purposive, I am doing it for this purpose. If it is not there, I will not do. Because if I am capable of doing something, I should do it. I should not fall back just because, it is not going to be useful in terms of, because whether it is people, the authors are writing the books because they feel, because the emotions overwhelmed, they put it into paper and it comes. Some books may sell, some may not sell. The real author, who is the worth of the salt, they will try to write, because finally, so that the society gets the benefit of because what, they have observed, what has been, because why someone becomes a writer, because he is able to observe minutely as to what is happening in every segment of the activity, every moment. He's able to bring it. But whereas, we are getting lost in the sense we are getting involved into that. Instead of observing, we have got the so many roles to play. I have got a role to play: a husband, father, son, as well as a friend, as well as, because something else. I'm taking the role very seriously, and I am forgetting, because then, I become the role. I'm not supposed to be become the role. I will see, because I will have to act the role, and then I will see. Look, because that's all in the. It is only the role. You can't be talking the way, because you are talking to your spouse, to your children, because you know where to talk and want to talk and how to talk. Because that is what, the intellectual has trained us, all these things. When you are doing it, you will try to avoid the conflict and confrontation, try to be, bring everything together and finally do that. That is the life. Because you will have to deal with everyone. And therefore, because you cannot avoid anything and all that. That is how we will have to do that. And that is what exactly it means. See, another important point philosophically, it is there. All the organs bringing it together, because always it is by practice, it is also very difficult. The why it is there, because because some are like, and we try to talk, as much as possible. And when we talk, sometimes, because if you are not careful, I think the words might go and all that, it will create another problem. And once it creates a problem, then to ward off that, we will be talking something else which is not required, also unnecessary, because we think, by that, we are trying to assuaging, and it will only be, because growing like a Hanuman style as it is, but finally there is no end to it. So therefore, once you are trying to limit all those things, Like we have also seen, because all these senses have got the devatas. Now all of them are controlled by the devatas, because then there is sort of, because we have also got the gradation of the devatas. That's also being said, because so that you always understand, because whatever be, the eyes are being sort of given the power by sun, and the ears are being given the power by, because the moon, and your tongue is given by Agni, and all those things, because we have already seen it and all. Why that they are telling all those things? When these things are telling, finally all these powers come from one source. That source gives all the powers. In fact, because even we must be remembering, in our Ishavasha Upanishadam, in the mantra number 14, when we said Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukha. So even when the sun is giving us, the entire energy to the entire world, whether there is a war or whether it is peace or whether it is sort of a desert or anything, because he's going about his job. Ekarshi, he is not, because he's not taking a leave. He comes every day and all. But when he comes, because when I need vitamin D, finally he gives it to me. And, because without sun, because all of us, will not have our systems functioning, we will not be getting the necessary energy, nor even the plant and even the necessary vitamins, because to be hale and hearty and all. Because when it is there, because what the Upanishad says, or is that the powerful, the golden, because the orb, of the sun, looking at that, you are just concealing the one who has given the power to you. I want to see him. That means even, because when he is doing because at the sort of, the instance of someone, who is getting it done through him, as he is getting it done through us, he's getting it done through the sun. That is the power we are seeing. Why, because that is the why, how will you be describing that power? That is why, because our Upanishads and Vedas have sort of coined the word called Brahman. Brahman, and Bruhu iti Brahman. It will always be growing. So you find, you have realized the God, and because you just go find out, and it goes, your bliss goes several level higher, because you will be going around. Because it is like, because there is no infinity. Infinity, will you be able to find the limit? In the unlimited infinity, it is plenitude, you will not be able to draw, because it is ultimate. So that is why the word Brahman has been so beautifully, because it is always growing. Because you think you realize the God, and it's not the be all and end of it. You have not reached the goal. It is a journey. So every time you find, because your level of, because the self fulfillment, self actualization, finally, the realization, the bliss or anything like that, that will always be growing. So this is exactly that has been brought about. So that means, because you just go about and be watchful, because even when I see, because I will have to see, whether I have to read a book or whether I have to watch the TV or whether I'll have to sort of go out and have a walk. At that point of time, I will have to do, which gives me the sort of a pleasantness of all my faculties working together. When you go for a walk, because you may be, seeing trees and people and all, but then, when you are having, oh, what a wonderful morning it is, आप तबीयत खुश हो गया. So you are all together, because your senses are together and you feel the ambience, because you don't think of anything else. It is you just fold and, perhaps, you want others also to see. But then, your ability to fold and enjoy itself is so high, this can't be described. You go to the seashore, and when you see the seashore, you get connect to the cosmos, because you go to a sort of the unpopulated seashore, somewhere in Maldives or somewhere and all. You go there, the whole sea is there in front of you, and no one around. You don't have any TVs, and you don't have any scramblings here and there, the traffic and all. At that point of time, you just see, the sea, sky, and the stars. That is wonderful. So once you see that, you understand the power, that mighty power who has created in front of you. You are a small speck. Once you understand that the same power is in me, that is it. Because once you know that, that is the highest. Once you realize that, because that happens, because there you don't have any sort of a distraction. Your senses will not go anywhere. And if you are alone in a Maldive, because the seashore, because there are no only, 32 in some islands, they've got 250 islands. In some of the islands, only 5 people are staying there. You go there, and to meet one person, you will have to walk about half a kilometer or 1 kilometer, because there only some sort of a residential places will be there. Will be. So when it happens, then you are able to get. But when you are surrounded by, everything else and all, okay, because we will see when the time comes. So when I get old, when I'm retired, when I have an opportunity to go, that's what it happens. Because that is something, because but sitting in the place where you are, you can still make it once you understand, once your senses work in harmony. When you don't, when you think of, even if you go out your upstairs and see the sort of the open sky and stars, just gaze it. You will be connecting to that. Even the birds, just flying across, you just see that. They are gay, abandoned. They are not bothered about anything. They are going with the flow. So we will all go with the flow. So the going with the flow and realizing, because the greatness, of yourself, being this is what exactly, it is brought about. And to further, sort of bringing further emphasize, because 2.3.11, the mantra which is there in your page 133, the launch pad, a quietude of the mind. How the quiet mind is not only the mind is quiet, everything quiet, you don't have internal chatter also. Wow, how am I to do? How am I to think this thing? How am I to ward off these things? And all. So this mantra says very, very beautifully, and we will just see, just recite the mantra and see briefly, and we will continue next week. Tam yogamiti manyante sthiram indriya dharanam. Tam yogamiti manyante stiram. Sthirasuka asanam. So when we sit and to do the meditation or sthirasuka, whatever is comfortable your position, that is sthira. Nothing, takes away, because I'm having, because discomfort in this hand, in this leg and all. Whatever is comfortable, sit. And when you do the meditation, what you are doing, trying to see yourself, trying to observe your breath, trying to observe the, because how the entire thing flows, how the breath is taken into the lungs and because finally processed and comes out of your nostrils. When you see, that is where in tam yoga vidhi manchante sthiram indriya dharana. When your entire senses, all the, because indriyas, because all the senses are, they are, because together, dharanam, because they have come together. And they are sort of, because flow, they are continuous. Because when you are going into the water, because on a boat, your paddle will have to be, because you will have to do that. And as well as, because you have to keep your leg, keep the balance of the boat, you will have to do everything. Your hands will have to work, your legs will have to work, your eyes will have to see, and you will have to go with this wind, because in which side it is there and all. Once you have that, so that is where exactly that yoga. And what is that yoga? Because how Patanjali has described and how, because philosophically it is being interpreted, as we will be seeing it, because as we are discussing this, then what it says, Thiram Indriya Dharanam, then Apramataha Tada Bhavati. See, once you are, because only you were just rowing the boat, into the open sea, at that point of time, you will not be thinking, because whether the my pension will come to my bank account or, whether the gas will be booked and delivered to my house. You will not be bothered about all those things. You will only be, at that point of time, you will be totally into what you are doing. You are in such a place, nothing else will bother you. Your mind, will be totally unbothered. It will be still. It will not be affected, because that is what Bhavati yoga hi prabha apayo. Prabha apayo in the sense that it comes and goes, the birth and death. That moment comes only once, because then after your rowing is over, you reach the shore, again, you are into that. If you have got a mobile and you have got a connection, what is the calls, missed calls there, you will go to that. So immediately that feeling what you had is apyo, it is already gone. It is a birth and it is death, it is gone. This is what it says, because once you are able to hold on, why I should see the mobile now? And I have got that, let me go and come to the shore. Let me see, because feel the sand, with my bare foot and feel the water, because and the salty water, with my hands and as well as legs. And once you have that, that is different, because once you are, that is where, when you have something, then you will be able to give up. Because when you want to something, you will have to go into the highest where you will be able to enjoy every moment of it. Even if, because sitting quiet, in a seashore is wonderful, because you will be able to reflect and see the stars and sky for the first time so beautifully. And you will be able to understand, because what is that? And as a speck, still I am connected to this entire universe. Because I am also required in this world. That's why I've been brought. And having brought in, I also let me see this is an opportunity for me to understand myself through the connecting with the cosmos, as well as in harmony with whatever is existing all around. This is exactly, because the wonderful thing, which I have get it here, for which I have come here. This is what exactly has been, because brought about, and this is the quietude of the mind. How it is really the quietude is taking you to several layers, into a blissful existence.